And if my son didn't push a lot of buttons, then we should be able to do that. But yeah, what's up? Chat working? Again, this thing. Look at that. Doesn't that look nice? Look at that red. This has been 20% Pro Nano. I did this in 2022. I gotta say, I did a good job. If you have a lease car, can you still get tint? Sure. You might have to remove it when you trade in your lease. It just depends on who you lease from. Okay, Pro Nano. Pro Nano 50. Oh, it's this box back here. It's this big heavy box. We got it. Shop has come a long way. Still renting, or did you buy the building? No, didn't buy the building. Still renting the same way. There we go. What's up? Okay, so first thing that we're going to be doing is we got to clean the outside of it. I already put a dash towel on the inside. Why are we getting double chat? TikTok being funky. Tried tinting my first customer's car, and I just couldn't finish the job. Oh, that's unfortunate. How's monetization going on all platforms? Depends on the platform. I think what pays the best right now and what most people have a chance at is TikTok videos over 1 minute. Other than that, I mean, monetization is all about views, so you're constantly chasing views. I hated doing that. I did that for a while. Still do sometimes, but... What are you doing here? We're tinting the full windshield in 50. God stab. In 50%. Wow, we really got to change that. What's your focus now? Right now, it's actually generating more leads for my own shop. As a whole, it's just making things run better. But believe it or not, we're pretty sparse on your average leads right now. So when I started this place, I mean, I mainly do videos. Like, that's what I wanted out of this place, was to be able to do consistent videos and streams and that kind of stuff. So any way that I can continue to do that, but in order to do that, we gotta keep the calendar full. What's the hardest part of doing a shop and online presence? It was kind of coming to the realization that I can't just tint a bunch of cars every day. Part of you wants to book a normal schedule, but you actually have to set aside time to do videos. So you kind of put your time into just doing a car and getting another car and getting another car. Or you set aside extra time and do a video. Otherwise, you're just kind of like working and tinting. All right, let me close this and try reopening it. It's doing like duplicate comments right now. Do you price things higher for more time with making content? Yes. Yeah, we started doing that like a long time ago, and honestly, I'm not like. There we go. Hopefully this will work better this time. Honestly, I'm not like crazy expensive, but I did mainly do my standard price. I'm iffy about this one. I mainly did my standard price a little bit higher. And then, based on demand, kind of raised the other ones. So the way I always pushed my pricing was, okay, if we're filled up for a week, I would then raise my price for people that are booking 2 weeks out and kind of try and set a new standard. For this windshield, we're doing, it's $250. So we're doing a Pro Nano ceramic 50% windshield. But coming from just tinting a bunch of cars every day, it's very easy just to like, ooh, I got another car, we can do that. And then we'll figure out video later. And then you realize that you just did some cars and you have nothing to show for it other than doing the cars. So there's plenty of times that we would have extra appointments. And, you know, you just stack things up like you could do it in a day. And then all of a sudden you have Wednesday and Thursday. You don't clip any of your lives? I've been trying to. I have a program that's supposed to help out with that. But I let myself get in the way too much. And rather than just post some things, I'm like, oh, I could have said that better. I could have done that a little better, and then I don't post one. What's the program? Opus. I think it's opus.ai or something like that, Opus Pro. So it's an AI to sort through, you know, 4 hours worth of live stream footage, and then it'll generate clips off of it. And then I'll go back and kind of either refine them more or extend them to add a little bit more context, like before and afterwards. It's definitely helped, but if anything, it'll also help me generate ideas, and I can go back and film them separate. Like I've done a handful, like the slip solution, plotter, and dryer sheets, like stuff like that. That's kind of what I'm looking to get from it. Things that are like, you know, questions that you would have. They're doing the whole car, just a windshield. So believe it or not, I actually tinted this 2 years ago, and he came back to do the full windshield. So the rest of the car looks great, thankfully. It's like 2 years ago. Was I good? I guess so, because we're doing more. But yeah, I think it's really hard to tint and stream all day, or impossible to get a video, especially. Streaming and tinting is kind of like the only thing that really works together, but it is a lot to do. Not yet. I want to try playing around with this just a little bit more. Yeah. Still need to get you on my podcast. Yeah, it'd be fun to do. It's been hard to do anything extra right now because we had a baby, and then my wife had surgery shortly after. So right now we're in that, like, baby's like 7 weeks old. I got up at like 6 this morning, and baby wouldn't let me get any more sleep. That's 1 hour on a Wednesday. Just let me know. Will do. Okay. So let's prep the outside. I wanted to clean most of the inside just to kind of go over it. This is a windshield that's not crazy difficult, but you do want to spend a little bit more time. So it's good. It's good. Let me get a couple things. I feel like the other one was probably faster. I walked past this one just a little bit on, just a tad quick, I'd say. Congrats on the new spawn. Thank you. Do you manually cut the tint, or do you have a machine? I have a machine, but I do both. So we're going to outline this. Where's the start here? It's a dope car, isn't it? How much baby shampoo would you add to a 32-ounce spray bottle? Like the Zepp ones do like 1/4 of an ounce of tint slip. On baby shampoo, I'm not sure anymore. I never really liked baby shampoo when it came to GeoShield, which is why we always had some like funky mixes and backyard chemistry until tint slip. Turn your microphone up. Why is it low? Is it low? Oh. Huh. That's goofy. Oh my god. Hello. Oh, wow, that's like way... He did it again. He did it again.
I was going to say, can't hear you. Okay.
Sorry about that. That probably sucks. If there wasn't... My son always figures out how to change some settings that I don't realize that he changed. We got like a soundboard. He turned down the decibel level. He did it. He figured out how to do it. Last time he made it echo. Then there was sound. Yeah, that's kind of important. It's funny. I could see that the mic was working. Had no idea that it was that low, though. It was on like -3, and it should be on +8. Good stuff. Okay, so we're going to outline this, cut this off. Rev it. I think he's waiting up front. We wouldn't do that anyways, though. This guy blamed his shit job on the South Florida heat and me using the AC. Oh, really? All right, missed this. And then we're going to coat this and let this dry. See, right here, if I walk too fast. Oh, and it stops right there. I can see it. That's how we learn things. All right, cool. So let that dry. One way we can speed it up, we can take a heat gun to it. Yeah, right there, that's where it stops. I was thinking about ordering GeoShield Classic. I was hoping that I'd be able to shrink it easier than what? That cutoff, that's annoying. It's like the most important part. Pro Classic is an awesome shrinking film. Any of Geo's films are gonna shrink fairly well. The way to look at Pro Classic is that it's basically just a very simple workhorse film. You want good tint on your car, that's it. And it just doesn't come with any performance bells and whistles. Dude talks like the professor. Ugh. Thanks. Probably comes from making a lot of tutorial videos. I'm struggling with the corners of the windshield. Well, you are in luck, my guy. We'll definitely go over that. Does the tint degrade sitting in a box? No, not that I've ever seen. It's actually okay. Like you can pull some old stuff off of a vehicle or off the shelf and be totally fine. Is Premier a good brand for ceramic? I have never heard of them. What percent are you using? We're gonna be using 50 Pro Nano ceramic. How do we shut that off? So a fairly light ceramic, once this is like all enclosed and covered outside, it's gonna look a lot darker. It's not going to. See, I do that. I walk too fast, and then that's when we lose it. No. Wow, I think I'm sending this back. There we go. That's annoying. Remote times out too. Rip. That makes it less helpful. See, those are the things that I like to try and figure out. Whenever there's a new toy, is it worth getting, using, trying out? I thought the remote would make it cool, but I think we're going to hook up the other one. Back to the POV streams? Yeah. Yeah, something like that. We're gonna swap this out real quick though. So you are gonna go right there for a minute. I bet you TikTok disconnected. They did. This. I picked up this one. It wasn't very expensive too. But it had this really nifty remote. See, this is all over TikTok shop too right now. Look at that. That's so nice. We'll hook this one back up. How long have you been tinting? Too long. There we go. This is a better tracking, but it doesn't have gestures. So that becomes a problem too. But it does like 360 and tilt and all that. It's a little less... a little bit less crazy. Where is... There's a shrinking card. All right, so we're going to square this off and center it. You have the best tools for streaming. It's kind of like, I'm a big tech nerd. So for as much as I like tinting, streaming and all this kind of stuff is kind of like my outlet for it, where I actually like, it's not just about buying a fun toy, it's about putting it to work. See, look at this one. This one works better. I just can't stop it from halfway across the shop, which is annoying. I've never used Northern Tint. I have no idea. Basically every brand so far that people have mentioned other than Geo, I have no idea about today. Like premium tech, I don't know. I've never heard of them. All right. So now we get to get to shrinking. So it's always a good idea to kind of split your window in half here. So center point, or just take that, drag that, and then lock down our side edges. And then we'll start at the bottom. That's going to be the easiest. Heat gun at a downward angle. And then we're just waiting for those little side waves. So especially when it comes to a windshield, try not to push the ceramic down right away. It'll shrink and you can smooth it out, but sometimes you'll notice a little dimpling when it dries out. So let it cool and go to another section and just do them like up and down. Yeah, the major difference between, so we're installing Pro Nano. There is one step above that. The difference becomes fairly negligible. Like, it is better, but Pro Nano blocks out a ton of heat as is. So the additional heat that it blocks out with Apex being a 2-layer ceramic, it's not going to be super significant because the only heat that's coming through is already very minimal. So you're blocking out more of what's left. But if you want to be at the bleeding edge, that's where Apex. And there's something to be said about being the best, because we get a lot of actual inquiries specifically about Apex, just because people see it's the best. Is Pro Nano higher on the list than C2 Ceramic? They go toe-to-toe. Pro Nano, in most shades, actually I think all shades, will outperform it a little bit. But C2 Ceramic, in the darker shades, just has better coloring. So this 50% looks great, no issues. But when we hop down to the 35's kind of warm. So if you hold them like side by side, a C2 Ceramic with a Pro Nano, the 35 is just like I don't know. It's weird. And then it goes back to being normal. Like 20 looks good. 15 looks good. 5 is a little bit warm, but it's also really, really dark, so there's a lot of coloring in it. Where C2 ceramic, that's colored with carbon, it's just got a really nice neutral tone to it. So it just depends. But that was I actually just ordered a roll more recently. I've been using Pro Nano the entire lineup for quite a long time now. It's also been around a lot longer. So it was a film that I knew that I could trust when I went to that one. I didn't want to take a lot of chances when I was switching to a different company. A little bit more there. How many window tinters are watching? Probably most are window tinters. I'm in search of a job. Please inform me if I can search for your company. No, I'm sorry. We are maxed out right now. You can learn how to tint, though. Should I be using distilled water? You don't have to. You just have to use clean water. So if your water is not clean, I think the best way to figure out if your water is clean it's back to disconnecting. Is like, do you have an even speckling throughout your entire window? That's kind of the best way to see. It's honestly the best way to know if your water's clean or not, because you'll have really consistent dirt throughout your window. But if your speckling mostly comes in like an area, then it's largely not your water. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's the installer. Mineral deposits could be, like if you use hot water, it could be sediment in your hot water tank. Go back to landscape mode, it's better. Better for what, though? All right, we're gonna talk about a top corner. So we're gonna zoom in on this one. Okay, tint class on this top corner. So we have all this loose film here. One problem I see new people make is they don't lock down the side. So very first thing is you want to split it in the middle, make sure this is flat, and then take this film and make sure that's flattened out just here. So you're not shrinking anything right on the side edge. We're going to start at one of the lowest points, and we're just going to heat the film till we get these little side waves. You don't want to shrink it much farther than that, but you will have to heat it until you see these lines start forming. These little air pockets start forming that way. And then once you see that, you can just push this straight up or out this way, outside of the corner. There's a lot of people will see this corner start to swoop in this direction, and then they'll take those air pockets and they'll shove them up towards the corner. But you actually want to readjust it and totally coast it like out this way. So you'll see, we'll get a little higher with our heat. And so I have these little swoops going this way. So rather than pushing them up this way, I'm going to push them in the direction that they would go if these were little ocean waves going into a shoreline. That's the analogy we're always going to use, is they're going to go out this way. And then you can readjust this corner, lift it up, flatten that back out, and then continue to shrink because you have this extra loose film up here. And it's just that, over and over. Little more heat. You start seeing those swoops. Let them cool off for half a second, and then we'll push them out the corner. Right like that. How do you prevent fingers on the side when shrinking? So the first thing is how you set up your windshield. You flatten it out in the center, and then you also direct any big fingers and you flatten this out. So you're making everything go up this way. If you're overheating it and causing the film to distort and like over tighten, you'll see it start lifting on the sides. You always want to make sure that you're just letting those little waves form. So these things, so let's zoom this out. So these right down here, we're gonna shrink them a little farther, and you're gonna see them form into like these little sideways air pockets. That's when it's ready to push forward. Match your card up with that and push it forward. So, right like that. So if you shrink it much farther than that, that's where you get into weird distortions. If you don't shrink it quite enough, that's where you start getting creases. All right, now let's trim our pattern. Yep, it's all in the setup, and you just got to follow those simple rules. If you don't follow the rules, that's where you get weird things happening. Yep, don't shrink out the sides ever. You can smooth those little waves out the sides, but you're never actually shrinking any film out the sides. Hey! Oh my god, I totally forgot about my super chats. That did work though. Tinting outside, I don't recommend. What do you recommend for keeping the dust off? That's the thing, is you're tinting in an environment that you just can't control. And that's gonna make your entire job difficult. So you wanna be able to control as many variables as possible. Some of the most important ones are just general wind. It's not that it's impossible to tint outside, but I can tell you, I could count on one hand the amount of things I've actually tinted outside. So tinting is just difficult to learn. When you're trying to just learn it outside, it makes it like near impossible. Plus, your business would always be like impacted by the weather, and that's not a good way to run your business, anyways. So, like an occasional job outside, sure. But some people look at mobile, like pure mobile. Like, I gotta go to apartment buildings, I gotta go to parking lots. And you really don't have to do mobile that way. There's existing companies, not necessarily tint companies, but there's existing companies that are looking for window tint services, but they can't find a good tinter. So I was mobile, but I would go to other shops like glass companies and stereo companies, and they would fill up a day for me so I wasn't running around too much from one location to another location, but they were keeping me busy. No, the way that we trimmed on the tape, and then you just pull that off. Okay, so one last bit. We're going to tighten up the top and the bottom. So whenever you trim your film out, tighten up your cut line just on the top and the bottom, because your cut is basically a relief cut on some of that shrink. So your shrink was connected, and then you just trimmed it. So to avoid any potential fingers on the top and the bottom, just tighten those lines up. Or you're gonna reverse roll it since it's a convertible. I reverse roll it all the time. Any windshield, we're gonna reverse roll. No, I'm gonna throw this heat gun out. The whole plug falls out of this one. Not the extension cord. This doesn't clip in anymore. Not very well. How would you avoid dirt on a 68 Ford Falcon? I think if you Google 68 Ford Falcon window tint, you'll find a really old video of mine. It's like one of the very few classic cars that I ever did. The answer is you could take a little bit of like school glue and outline the edge, and that'll help prevent some dirt from running back in. And also just tint it about 100 times in a row, because old cars with like old chrome felt that's been glued on, it's not fun. How would you avoid, oh yeah, that one. I'm out of iced coffee. What ceramic brand do you use? GeoShield. This is their Pro Nano ceramic. Nice. Someone just farted really bad. See, this one. Pro Nano ceramic. We're doing 50%. Okay, so this is all set. Thank you for that, by the way. We got some super chats. We got 2. Martin, getting jobs mobile on shops is difficult here in PR. Getting jobs mobile on shops. Can you say that better? Thank you for the 5. I really appreciate that. Like, what kind of jobs? Getting, like, mobile jobs? Like, going from shop to shop? Or just, like, getting mobile jobs in general? I think being a mobile tinter and staying consistent really is a challenge. Ugh. All right, we're going to clean off the inside one more time. Like, you have enough shops now with physical locations that look better, and they just have an advantage on, like, when people are looking for maps, and it's just more of a traditional business. Where, like, finding a mobile guy that looks, like, super professional, honestly, it's kind of difficult, because a lot of times you don't really have a physical place on maps. So they just generally will outrank you. So you're going to have to rely on having a better website put together and probably some paid ads. I think nano tints should be underneath or glass sandwich. They should be. I agree. That, unfortunately, would make the windshield price go up even more, but there are some brands or some companies that do it. So BMW, Mercedes, Range Rovers, certain versions will have like ceramic films inside the glass. Any of your EV stuff, so like the sunroofs in particular. Wait. So like your Mustang Mach-E's, your Tesla Model 3s, Model Ys, all those. The front windshield might not have it. Some do. And the roof definitely has it on everything because there's no shades there. Did it go white? Here. Who's recording me? A robot. A very unprofessional robot right now. All right. Yeah. Gimbals. They let me down today.
There we go. You followed me.
Oh, you can pick it up now if you want. Because the remote shuts off after like 20 minutes. Yes. The 3 dots. So this way, and then those 3 dots there.
Oh, okay.
And then back ultra wide.
Perfect.
And then back. Yep. I feel like going back to the head cam would be a lot more efficient.
Oh,
It would be. But trying to do TikTok and YouTube at the same time with the head mount camera, I got to do it with a phone. And with this windshield, I'm so tucked back you wouldn't be able to see. You'd be able to see like the shrinking stuff on the outside, but nothing on the install. That makes it tough. All right, so we're gonna do one last squeegee. Well, we were using like a neck mount. That's how I do like the phone thingy. But on windshields, it just doesn't. Windshields gets in the way.
just ordered 10 boxes of film, nano ceramic, and C2 ceramic. Would you prefer one over the other?
Just ordered 10 boxes of film?
Yeah.
What was that?
Would you just order 10 boxes of film, both
Yeah.
nano ceramic and C2 ceramic? Would you prefer one over the other?
Oh, like Pro Nano Ceramic and C2? Would you prefer one or the other? Ooh. So in the 35% C2, and then for the rest of them, it could be one or the other. C2 ceramic, TikTok probably disconnected. C2 ceramic. No, the chat. I think the chat disconnected. C2 ceramic is very comparable to Pro Nano ceramic. It was brought in to be an alternative to Pro Nano, especially during supply chain issues. And then people liked it so much that they just kept it around. But somebody asked, like, why don't you use Apex? I do use Apex. It's just not everybody pays for Apex. And it's one of those things that we don't, like, we advertise it on our site, but I didn't know necessarily where to place it because, like, Pro Nano is such a good film that your Apex, like, it's a dual ceramic, and, you know, it's easy to say it's the best, because it is. But if I'm doing a BTU test, Pro Nano ceramic, oh, it should be connected, so that's good. Pro Nano is going to be 75, and then Apex is going to be like half of that again, so like 35. So, but like when you put your hand in front of that, like you already can't really feel much with Pro Nano. So putting an extra layer ceramic isn't going to make a groundbreaking difference, but it costs more. So that's often just what I tell people. But we do get people that are just like asking for the best. And if you want to just ask like, hey, what's the best film? Then it's easy to say Apex. But when you actually compare them, which I do. Lumar is decent. Expel or Autobahn is better in my opinion. And that's cool. There's a lot of good films out there. There's also certain things that some of those companies are going to do different. So if you want to be, if you're getting into window film, you want to become an Autobahn dealer, chances are you're just going to have to use Edge and cross your fingers that there's no dealers near you. Where I'd say Geo can go toe-to-toe with any of those, and you're not restricted by territory. So like some businesses obviously are gonna like territories and some are not gonna like them at all. So both Expel and Autobahn are territory companies. Okay, so we're gonna roll the rest of this up. Have you heard of Reno? Yes. And they got this bad nickname of like, they put the no in Reno, or say no to Reno. They had some problems. I don't know if they still have problems, but they definitely had problems. Okay, so this part, we roll the whole thing up, and then we're gonna separate this liner here, and it just sticks to what we rolled up, and then we peel it away from itself. And then so it's magic, but it's somehow sticking to the back side of the roll. I'd never figured this out. Somebody taught me this. We're gonna rinse that off. What type of Olfa blades do you use? NT cutter. Olfa is the original most popular Japanese brand. NT are still made in Japan. I don't know why good stainless steel blades come from Japan, but they do. I liked NT better, but both are good. NT cutter stainless steel. We have it on the site too, 313tint.com. Okay, so we're gonna get this left side up here. That's the most important, is to kind of get that at least very near where we need it installed. And then we're gonna start unrolling it, just like a few inches at a time. And then you see this slack here, you unroll it, you stick some of that slack on the windshield. You unroll it some more, and then you just keep doing that. And so the closer you can get it to where it's gonna be installed, with the least amount of obstructions, the smoother this is all gonna unroll. So this is that liner that's stuck to the backside. You can take this and pull this to the front, and you can use this to start unrolling. We're almost a little stuck. There we go. Let's put this down. This is such a curved dashboard, man. I just want to be careful that I don't pull any type of crease into this. What was that steam? That was a anti-dusting agent that we spray here that is also used for raves and nightclubs.
How much contamination do you accept after doing the windshield?
How much contamination do you accept? None. If there's anything, we rip it off. So it's got to be very minimal, and ultimately it's up to the customer. So there's some basic stuff, like if there's any grouping, that's a bad thing. So if I were to like point out a handful of specks like up in a top corner or just anywhere, that's usually no good. So you want to stay away from anything that really like draws your eye. But you might have 1, 2, 3 little specks just like miscellaneously placed around your windshield. So like when you walk up to the car, you should get the impression that there's nothing wrong with it. So if you have to start searching to find stuff, then you're doing really, really good. But if you can see some bigger stuff from like 5, 10 feet away especially, that's when it gets especially bad. But on a windshield, if we have any hairs or things that are stuck in the like front center area, that's gonna be a problem for the customer because they're gonna be staring at it while they're driving. And looking at it all the time is just gonna be frustrating. Smoke effect. What smoke effect? We have fog machines for super chats. It was something that I did a long time ago that we got back up and running, and it mostly works. It's been working well today. Totally reminded me that I have to fix the alert for it. On YouTube, we can probably make it show up on screen. Actually, on both, we might be able to have them pop up on screen. TikTok is gonna time out. How long do we got? Oh, in 2 minutes. Oh, I caught it. Unable to verify. There we go. Hey, we saved it. I bet it's on like an hour timer. Yeah. I should just like put up a timer and then start it. Is online training useful? You tell me. This is online training. There's a pretty notable course, Tint School Online. There's a lot of people that took that course that are in my Facebook group. So if you go to Facebook and you search window tint in the group section, ours has like 90,000 people, and it's called window tint -313tint.com. And you can just ask regular people. And it's got a lot of positive reviews. So people that took it are very happy that they took it. Never shy away from trying to invest in learning in any way that you can when you're trying to pick up a skill. I do that for things for sure. Yeah, and like it's nice too, because same goes for like if you guys are wondering about any particular film, there's other people that are actively using every film that's out there, and I can't hope to try every film that's out there. Yay, thank you. So what's nice is like you can see that kind of history. You can ask like, hey, what do people think of Scorpion? And you'll get a lot of opinions about it from people that have actually tried it and used it or might still be using it. I know it's somewhere. I think it's on that cart. So we're just scrubbing off. Thank you. But yeah, I got a channel full of a lot of videos. At the very least, start with watching as many people and as much as you can. There's a lot of people that live stream here on TikTok now, too, that you can ask whatever questions that you want. And they're really good at answering all of them. Looking good. So I'm just going to use a tri-edge scrub pad. So this scrub pad here and a Libman squeegee. Like this is a shower squeegee, but it's awesome. Because it's wider than a regular like installation squeegee, and it curves really well. So you can sweep this windshield off or a back window extra fast without getting your main squeegee dirty.
I've been messing around with that on the inside with cleaning, and I like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just because it covers such a big pad, and it's not going to scratch anything.
I've never tried it yet, but I'll have to try it.
Yeah. It was just like it was there, and that's what I had to use. Oh.
Can I pick up a tint keg instead of waiting for shipping? So those ship from Waterford. We could get that arranged, but you could pick it up from them. I would pick it up from them. Sun Distributing, they're a tool company, but they also put together all the kegs. They're the OG keg company. But yeah, they're only 30 minutes from us. So you could even buy it direct from them, too. It wouldn't hurt my feelings. It's all good. All right, so we're just wiping this off now.
How come there's no fingers on the sides?
How come there's no fingers on the sides? Because we shrunk it right. You might get the occasional finger or air pocket or whatever, just like on the side or somewhere. It's really normal to have something pop up on the edge, but it should be fairly small. But that's why, you know, we stick to those rules. Keep the sides nice and flat. When you shrink it, make sure you're very thorough. Touch up the top and the bottom edges. And then when we squeegee everything out, this one's laid down beautifully. So it looks like this. There's one here that's perfect. See what I mean by you might get one on the side? So we'll either have to touch that one up with heat, or it'll just press down and stay down. A little bit of heat is going to be needed for that one. So we'll take the heat gun on the inside just a little bit, because it's up here, it'll be easy to get to. I got something small that I saw too. Little guy. This is where this gets fun. Little guy right here. A little bit more annoying. Actually, let me do this. Is there a certain way to squeegee when doing the windshield? In general, for your, like, you got to look at it kind of like a bed sheet. Start in the middle and work your way up and out all the edges. So if you can kind of stretch it out over the windshield, everything will be evenly distributed, or as close to evenly distributed as you can. So we're gonna pull this back a little bit. I got one small, almost like eyelash style hair. Ooh, there it is. It looks a little bigger, which is a good thing. Yes. In my opinion, the worst hairs are the super thin ones that bury themselves into the glue and you can't feel them. So when you try and fix them and just flush them out, it's like near impossible to find. Where one that's a little bit bigger, we good? Oh yeah, that's nice. So we still have that little, thank you. We still have that little finger right here. So to touch this one up, I'm gonna use this heat gun like a hairdryer, and I'm gonna hold it back farther. The interior is gonna be extra sensitive to heat because this is fabric. So if you warm this finger up, you're effectively drying it out, and then you're able to push all that water and just dry it out extra fast. Where if you heated it up on the outside, it's still gonna dry, but just not near as quickly. So if you do take a heat gun to the inside, just hold it farther back. This is like way deep into my panel. There we go, that's better. But yeah, otherwise, if it's something that is farther down, so if it's a little finger down here or down under the dash, I'm not going to heat it up from the inside, I'm gonna heat it up on the outside. So because like anywhere from like here and up is really easy just to run a heat gun on the inside, but again, these are hot. Use them like hair dryers. Don't use them like heat guns. Yeah, what if you have a finger on the bottom of the windshield? First is you're gonna want to try and press as much water out of it as you can. So you're gonna use something like this, use a bulldozer, and you can reach down farther, and you'll be able to just push that down. And then if it pops back up, take a heat gun and heat that finger area and just let it sit for a little bit. Heat it up a little bit more, give it some drying time, and then again, try and just press it out with something like this. Bulldozer.
We should be good. You said you had an appointment.
Okay. We're right on time. Thankfully, I haven't seen anything that... Oh, wait, there's...
Yeah.
We're starting over.
Wait, there's more. It was just in Utica. I said if you need that.
What's that?
It was just in Utica. I said if something came up, I could take it.
Oh, okay.
That was when he scheduled it, though.
All good. Isn't it bad to heat one spot on the windshield? Well, you don't want to like focus the heat in just one spot and leave it there. So you're heating up that area gradually, and it just depends on how hot you want to get that one spot. So if you have a little finger that just pops up, yeah, you're just really going to be heating one spot, but you're going to do it very gradually. But you don't have to just focus the heat just in that one spot. You could heat around that area a little bit. But yeah, be careful. I used to be really nervous about scratching, or not scratching, breaking a windshield. Windshields can take a lot. You actually have to be doing something like incredibly stupid to crack a windshield from heat. They'll either have like a pretty bad chip in it already, or you just like put a stupid amount of heat in one spot. They can take a lot before you end up blistering the laminate or anything like that. TikTok definitely disconnected. It's here, but I betcha it's gonna, yep. That's annoying. As an owner / operator of a tint shop, would you say business is consistent on a weekly basis? Generally, it's fairly consistent. Lately, it's been a lot slower, but we're going through some fun economic times right now. I think what you're seeing is a lot of people are stressed out. Cars are expensive, things haven't really gotten cheaper, and that's been going on for a while now. So everybody's got to work harder now. Okay, so now we're gonna pull this dash towel out. There we go. Is it a Mustang? Definitely. The Chevy Mustang.
Ouch.
Tint tastes like money. Not old purple ones. Okay, a little bit more. Let me get another towel. If you look at numbers, the economy is actually getting better. I mean, maybe they paint it that way on a graph. Maybe for certain people. But in general, the way it is now versus the way it was 2 years ago, still night and day difference. You're gonna steal it? This car finna gonna get took. That is finna get took. Then we did a good job. All right. There we go. Look at that. That looks so nice. Very, very good. Much respect from Alaska. Swapped from SolarGuard to Geo because of you and stoked I did. Oh, wow. I can close this, right? Okay, good. It's that inner, did I latch these paranoia? All right. Well, we're pretty good on this one. He's waiting up front. He's got to take off, so we got to just get him typed up, and then I'll be out of here. So, thanks all for hanging out today. Whoa, that makes my arm. Look at that. Look at how long my arm is.
It's like the people hold those Insta360 cam in their mouth.
Super stretch. Hey, guys, what's up? All right, guys, I'm going to take off.